From World War I to global financial chaos, the secret behind gold prices. In human history, few metals have shaped the concepts of power, wealth, empires, and survival profoundly as gold. Before World War I, the world operated under a monetary system known as the gold standard. Under this system, every major currency was directly tied to gold. This meant paper money was essentially a representation of gold, and governments were obligated to convert currency into gold upon demand. Before 1914, the global price of gold was practically stable. In the United States, 1 ounce of gold was priced at approximately $20.67, and this price had remained nearly unchanged for decades. The reason was simple. Governments did not allow the market to determine gold's price freely. It was legally fixed. Then came 1914. When World War I began, the foundations of the global financial system shook. Europe's major powers, Britain, Germany, France, Russia, all entered the war. Fighting a modern industrial war required enormous financial resources. Governments quickly realized that remaining on the gold standard would make it impossible to finance the war. So a historic decision was made. Most countries suspended the direct convertibility of their currencies into gold. This decision, in many ways, marked the birth of the modern financial world. Once currencies were separated from gold, governments began printing money on a massive scale to finance war expenses. As a result, inflation began to rise. Although the official gold price in the United States remained $20.67 per ounce, the depreciation of other countries' currencies made gold appear more expensive globally. For example, in Germany, the destruction of the currency during and after the war made gold extraordinarily valuable. During the 1923 hyperinflation crisis, paper marks became almost worthless while gold prices soared. Not because gold itself changed, but because the currency collapsed. This reveals an important truth. Gold does not usually rise. Currencies fall. After the war ended in 1918, the world attempted to return to the gold standard. Britain decided in 1925 to restore gold convertibility at the pre-war rate. However, this decision proved economically disastrous because Britain's economy had weakened significantly during the war. The result? Unemployment, economic hardship, and ultimately Britain abandoning the gold standard in 1931. During this period, the United States had become the largest holder of gold reserves in the world. European nations were sending gold to America to repay war debts. Financial power was gradually shifting from Europe to the United States. From 1914 to 1930, a fascinating contradiction appeared. The official gold price in the United States remained almost unchanged, $20.67. But in many countries, gold felt much more expensive. The reason? Currencies were losing value. Then came 1929, the Great Depression. Banks began collapsing. People lost their savings and trust in the financial system evaporated. In such times, people abandoned paper currency and moved toward gold because gold is not a government promise. It is a tangible asset. And that is exactly what happened. Even in the United States, people began hoarding gold. The government feared that if gold left the banking system, the financial structure would collapse. In 1933, U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt took an extraordinary step. Private ownership of gold was made illegal. Citizens were forced to sell their gold to the government at the official price. Then in 1934, a historic decision was made. The United States raised the official price of gold from $20.67 to $35 per ounce. This was approximately a 69% increase. It was one of the largest government-driven devaluations in history, meaning the dollar itself was devalued to support the economy. Here we reach a critical turning point. From 1914 to 1933, the official gold price had remained almost unchanged. But in 1934, it suddenly jumped. So if we look in the beginning of World War I, 1914, to the period before World War II, the major increase in gold price occurred due to this single decision. It was not a market move. It was a political decision. But that decision changed global financial history. For the first time, the world realized that even gold prices could shift due to government policy. This marked the beginning of the modern monetary era. From the Great Depression to World War II, the true power of gold. When the United States set the gold price at $35 per ounce in 1934, it was not merely an economic decision. It was a declaration of global financial dominance. America had now become the center of the world's gold reserves. Europe was sinking into economic crisis. Nazism was rising in Germany, and global politics was moving toward another major conflict. During the 1930s, many countries deliberately devalued their currencies to boost exports. This period could be described as a form of currency war. In such an environment, gold became even more important as a global benchmark of value. France began accumulating massive amounts of gold. Germany also pursued policies aimed at securing gold and strategic resources. Later, Nazi Germany seized gold reserves from several European countries, a significant financial aspect of World War II often overlooked. When World War II began in 1939, the global financial system was already fragile. However, an interesting fact stands out. During World War II, the official price of gold did not change significantly. The United States maintained the price at $35 per ounce. This means that from 1934 to 1945, the official price remained largely stable. But reality was different. During the war, gold traded at higher prices in black markets. In occupied territories, gold became extremely valuable. Demand increased due to fear and uncertainty. In other words, a gap emerged between official prices and real-world value. Then in 1944, another historic event occurred, the Bretton Woods Agreement. Under this agreement, the global monetary system was reorganized. The U.S. dollar was linked to gold, $35 per ounce, and other currencies were linked to the dollar. This effectively made the dollar the world's central currency. It was, in essence, America's economic victory. If we look at the total change from 1914 to 1945, the picture becomes clear. 1914 price, approximately $20.67 per ounce. After 1934, $35 per ounce. Increase, about 69%. But when adjusted for inflation, the reality becomes even more fascinating. Wars and economic crises severely damage currencies. In many countries, gold prices rose hundreds of times. But this was due to currency collapse rather than gold itself increasing in intrinsic value. A fundamental lesson emerges here. Gold does not change during wars. The world changes. World War I broke the gold standard. The Great Depression shook the financial system. American policy decisions changed gold's price. World War II made the dollar the dominant global power. And gold? It remained quietly where it always had been. When the war ended in 1945, the world entered a new monetary era, one where paper currencies operated on government promises, but the ultimate foundation of trust was still gold. That is why experts often say, wars end, empires fall, currencies change, but gold survives every era of history.